Welcome to She's Connected. This is the group for the stressed out and overwhelmed moms who need to pause and connect to God, herself, and her kids. Now, we are live through Facebook today. And power outages. Man, we have some power outages here and there, and they cut my computer out. And then whenever I start that computer after a power outage, I never know what it's going to look like. And today I started this computer and some things were different and they had to load and it took longer, and I was kind of stressed about starting the live on time, but I think we're here. And also this morning was restructured. My schedule was kind of thrown off. I usually wake up, have a morning routine, but when I was in the middle of that morning routine, Ireland started crying louder than normal, and we had to check on her. She has been unclipping her pacifier clip. This clip is supposed to keep it here, so she unclips it. The pacifier goes loose. Then she cries because the pacifier is not right on her. And then in the morning, usually she wakes up and she puts her pacifier in and she kind of hangs out in her crib for a little bit without crying, and it's nice. But today she unclipped her pacifier clip and the pacifier was underneath the crib mattress. I don't know how that could get there, but anyways, it was there. And so she couldn't find this pacifier and she was crying and crying, and the kids were like, well, she wasn't crying too loud, but they were like, she's crying really loud. And then I go out there and I'm like, she's just kind of whining. But anyways, so I got to sit with Ireland for about an hour, rocking her in the kind of darker room, and it was calming and relaxing, and we were just chilling out. And so that was really cool, being in the moment with Ireland, but at the same time I wasn't getting my normal routine done, so I had to come in here and make my bed and take my vitamin and all that stuff with her, which I usually don't do. So my schedule has been changed today, and the computer's schedule was changed also because I had to restart it after having a power outage and we turned everything off. So craziness of restructuring. Do you have that in your home today? I'm Sherry, mom of 10, living in Springfield, Missouri, inspiring families and moms like you to live a life connected to God. And Facebook has been changing things up with lives. They are no longer like sending lives out to people in your group. It's kind of annoying. They don't say when the lives are going to all the people or any of the people sometimes. And so here we are trying to go live in our group, and people aren't notified, and things changed, and they're taking away our live video after 30 days and all this stuff. But tell me about you in the comments. Where are you watching from? If you're watching that live right now, you could put live, you could put here, you could put replay, you can just say your name and say where you're from. You can tell me how your spring is going. I know there's some people coming in the door and I don't like it because I'm on my live right now and I keep looking over there because he's there. Shut the door, please. Shut the door. Okay, so I already told them what they needed to eat for their sides, and they are not following my directions. They're coming in here bothering me what they can eat. Really? Come on. Okay, come on, kids. I'm live right now. How is your spring going? I took Ruthie to get some photos in her birthday dress that Sydney made, and with a bike, and I wanted some flowers. So we had to search for blooming flowers, and we happened upon some trees, and we thought about going to the park. We thought about going to where the tulips were blooming. We weren't sure, but we ended up taking her bike with this row of trees, and it was pretty fun, except her skirt got caught in the gears one time, so that was kind of scary. But other than that, we had some fun, but it was really windy out, so my hair was whipping all over the place. She had her hair in braids at first, and she was like, oh, can I take out my hair? And I was like, if you take out your hair, it's gonna blow all over the place. So we waited to the very end, then we took her hair out, and then we did a couple more photos. But that has been just the last couple days. And we are in Discovering Joy in Philippians, Bright Stars series, Shine like a star is today. I want you to shine like a star in your motherhood, in your home, in your life, in your community, in your family. I'm trying to see if there are any comments going or if anybody's here. I don't even know. Okay, I think I got the comments section. Welcome to High Five Friday. You made it to Friday. One outstanding quality that Timothy and Epaphroditus model, we've talked about them the last couple lives, is a willingness to put Christ's needs over their own. Now, God looks for this quality in you and in me too. In Luke 9:23 through 25, it talks about following Jesus and how we have to say no to some of the things that we kind of want. Every day we have to be willing to die for him. It says, whoever wants to save her life will lose it, and whoever gives her life for me will save it. It is worth nothing for you to have the whole world if you're destroyed or lost. So why don't you put willing in the comments? Because every day is a willing choice to follow him, even if it costs you, and even if it costs you your life, which is hard to think about nowadays. But back then, in their time, people were being stoned for following Jesus, killed. Oh, it does have some people in the comments. I didn't even know these were going. Hello, Bev and Tina. It doesn't even show me how many people are watching, but you are here in the comments. Thank you so much for showing up and showing those waves. And Cole was not the one coming in. It was Gideon at the door asking if he could have grapes. Oh, and Julia's here again today. Hello. I'm so glad you guys hopped in the comments live because, we're here trying to meet together. And we're diving into the what now I don't even know what I named it. Shine like a star. So God has called us to self-sacrificial service. Redemption isn't a momentary event unneeded until the day of Christ. It's every day. It's right now. Are you living for him? God wants us to be a holy people with lives set apart for him. Set apart. We do not get to be like every person in the world. The people, the believers and the non-believers, we are different. Now we are here in the world and we are supposed to be living for him differently than the people of the world, but we are supposed to love those people of the world. We are supposed to be obediently avoiding sin and pursuing the fulfillment of God's purpose through us. He gives each one of us talents for building up the body of Christ. And not everyone knows that, though. Many think that it's the pastor's job to perform all ministries, and everyone else just gets to enjoy his work on Sundays. But Ephesians 4:12 says, Christ gave those gifts to prepare God's holy people for the work of serving. This is you, the holy people of God. And Christ gave you gifts to prepare you to serve, to do the work of God, serving. You're doing that by being a mom. You are serving in your family and in your household. And God prepared you for it. He gave you gifts to do that well, to make the body of Christ stronger. If you are raising little ones, you are building them up to love him. And that's a big job. And it matters, even when you're just slopping up messes. But a lot of people think that it's the pastor's job, and you don't have a say in how God's kingdom grows here in your community, in your home, in your neighborhood, all that stuff. But pastors prepare us to do works of service. Church is not a spectator sport. You don't get to go and just sit in the seats to get filled up. Now, we do go to get filled. He is the pastor at your church is filling you. We come to groups like this, small groups, Bible studies, to get filled up, but it's not just to get filled up so we can be full and at home and safe and comfy. It's so we can do something about it. We can live out what God says we're supposed to do. So I want you to put action in the comments, because we're not supposed to sit in services or even come to gatherings like this and live without doing something. I want you to do something. We are called to take action. Use your gifts that God has given you to be that best mom, to be that best friend, to build up the body of Christ. Paul knew how rare shining stars were. Shining star servers were. In Philippians 2:21, he says, everyone looks out for their own interests, not those of Jesus Christ. He's talking about the people in the world and how everyone was looking out for their own self. And that is what today's society, modern society, is all about. Me, 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 me. Or they have all the ads and all the things that people talk about is all about you and what you want and your truth and you. It's all about me and you. Like, that is not biblical. It is about Jesus Christ, okay? So we need to have that as our priority too. It is not all about me. It is about us and God's kingdom and showing his glory to us through Jesus Christ. So our number one focus needs to be Jesus, okay? His interests. Everything you do should be wrapped around Jesus Christ and what he wants for this world. What would Jesus do? It's a famous saying. I tell my kids that all the time. You know, it got really popular in the 90s, and we had bracelets that said WWJD, what would Jesus do? And it was to get our focus off of us and the world and focus on Jesus. What would he do in this moment? Are we living that out? In Philippians, Paul is telling us to do that. He told them to do that way back then. And it is true for us today too. Okay, so we're going to go through a couple things that we can learn from Paul and Philippians, and we can learn them from Timothy and Epaphroditus, who we've been talking about. Genuine concern is really rare and radiant. When you have genuine concern, you shine like a star. Not everybody has genuine concern. It's kind of rare. In a world full of self-promotion, Paul praised Timothy for his rare selfless concern for others. His heart wasn't divided. He truly cared. And in motherhood, there are countless tasks. But the heart behind those tasks, that's what matters most. Your heart. And when you listen to a child's story with full attention, or you offer a warm meal with joy instead of resentment, you reflect God's heart. And it's not flashy, but it's faithful and in God's eyes. And that shines brighter than stardom. You probably feel unseen a lot of times, but your genuine concern, it is noticed by God. So let that purify your motives when your work is thankless. So why don't you put care in the comments? Because your genuine care shines like a star. And I can't believe that Facebook doesn't show you how many people are on the live. And I'm not seeing some comments. Oh, there's some comments. This is so funny. Oh, Jessica's here too. Hi, Jessica. Thank you for showing up on the day when I can barely see my comments. They were like frozen. And then when I put a comment in, then it showed all the other comments. So I'm sorry I'm not seeing those right. But you know, Facebook. Faithful ministry, it will test and refine you. And motherhood is the ultimate faithful ministry. So you guys, you got this going for you. Ministry isn't about a quick win. It's about being tested and refined and found faithful through the long haul. Those many years of focusing on your family and building something amazing. Raising children. It is a long, sanctifying ministry. And I praise you for being in it and doing it. It tests your patience, it reveals your pride, and it purifies your motives. And when you feel like you are failing, remember the tests are producing something eternal, this long lasting, next life kind of thing. And failure is almost daily in motherhood, okay? We feel it. We know when we mess up, and we feel like we mess up when we don't even mess up. Let the hard moments refine you and not define you. What feels like frustration today may be like faithfulness tomorrow. So stay the course. Don't give up. You are a good mom because that's where God has put you. Put test in the comments because it's a test. Your life is full of test after test that is refining you to be a shining, bright, bright star. Or you could even say diamond. Because, you know, when stone is pressed and put under pressure, those are the ones that become the diamonds underground. Well, that's what you are. You are a diamond in this motherhood here. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah, technology is not working. See, it pauses and then I put in a comment myself. Then I can see some other comments. Yes. Thank you for calling this a blessing because I have gone through some Facebook changes have really made me think about maybe not going live anymore, but here I am. I'm going live. Or let's keep going. Embrace the limits of your humanity with grace. I can't tell you this enough. Grace, grace, grace. I know Jessica in here has a daughter named Grace that can remind you to give yourself grace. Epaphroditus risked his life for the gospel, but even he hit his physical and emotional limits. He grew very homesick. He was ill. He nearly broke down. He almost died. And as moms, you might face burnout, exhaustion beyond all means, or discouragement. You you might be a little depressed. But like Epaphroditus, you're not weak for being weary. You're human. And we all get weary. And I tell you, moms, we have it hard. We get so worn out because we're taking care of so many things that you can feel so weak. But don't confuse the need to rest with failure or weakness. The Lord values your offering, even when you're offering it with trembling hands or those puffy eyes from crying. Put grace in the comments because sometimes you reach your limit physically and emotionally. But you need to give yourself grace. And the people around you sometimes need grace, and we need to remember that so we can continue to spread God's love through grace in our families, in our home life, and even when we go outside of our home. All right, don't hide your battles. Let it point to God's glory. We all have struggles. We all have obstacles, these battles we're fighting, and they can be puny little battles like like Ireland unclipping her pacifier over and over again. That's a tiny battle. Or big battles. Like my son feels very stupid because he is dyslexic, and people will say mean comments about him not being able to read quick or not being able to read a certain word, and he just gets so down on himself because of the comments that other people are making, and he knows that he can't read as well as other people. So he will start telling himself that he's stupid and he can't read and all the things. And that hurts our hearts as moms, seeing our kids go through a hard time. Well, Paul didn't hide Epaphroditus' suffering. He actually honored it. The transparency didn't discredit their ministry. It actually authenticated it. And when you are hurting and struggling, you can share that with other people, with your spouse, with your friends, with your kids. Don't pretend that you have it all together, because we don't. Like, let's be honest and real. Be open with your kids in an appropriate, like age appropriate way, and your need for God, because they're going to hit hard times and they're going to go through hard things. And we want them to know that they can trust God through those hard things. Well, if we share our hard things with them, then, and our need for God, then they will rush to him when they have that type of need. Oh, your vulnerability, it becomes their invitation to trust him. Your honesty honors God more than your perfection ever could. It's not about being perfect. It's about needing him and showing his glory. Oh, you don't need to protect your children from your struggles. I mean, you don't want to explain everything to them about, like, maybe your relationship with your spouse, and because you don't want them to see their dad in another way, but you can share that you need God in every situation. Just point them to God, because he sustains you, and then your kids will understand that he can sustain them. And oh my goodness, it's such a testimony. I know when we moved from Michigan to Missouri, that was a really hard thing. And we were pretty open about it with our kids, and it made a huge impact in their life. Just knowing that you can trust God through anything, it really helped them be open to doing new things too, and doing hard things. Why don't you put honest in the comments? Because when you're honest about your battles, it shows God's glory and it makes you shine like a star. And you are just getting brighter and brighter as your motherhood journey continues to go or grow, or you continue on this journey. God, he's amazing. Live plainly before God and others. Paul did not manipulate or sugarcoat things. He just lived truth out loudly. This sincerity made his ministry trustworthy. And we want people to trust God. And when we are just living out our God-given journey with him at our focus, at our lead, at our head, whatever you want to call it, people see and notice, and they do begin to trust God. Your home doesn't need to be spotless, and your children don't need to be perfectly dressed and have a great schedule. What they need is to see your love for Jesus lived out plainly in this messy, beautiful, ordinary life, in the small moments, in the big moments. Your simple truth telling, your patient correction, your honest prayers, all of it commends the gospel to your family and the people around you. So your motherhood ministry, it is a ministry. It doesn't need like a spotlight to be sacred. Your faithful presence, it is presence over perfection every day. That faithful presence of you showing up day after day after day to wipe up the messes, clean the noses, clean the butts, clean the toilets, and mend the hearts. It speaks the truth more powerfully than any performance you could ever do. So now we're at our heart check moment, our time to ask ourselves questions. to see, where is your heart at? Because God is all about our hearts. Your heart. You can do the best um, things every day in your family, but if you're not doing it with God in here, then they kind of don't even matter. So it's all about your heart. Let's do some heart checks here. I wanted to put some in the comments kind of separately so they aren't like this huge list of questions today. So that's what I want to do here. Oh, thank you, Bev, for putting that heart check in there. I didn't even need to do it. You could have done it. Or I could have had you. Okay, my comments are still weird. But anyways, here is the first list of questions that kind of go together. Where in my home life am I tempted to strive for that recognition rather than offering a genuine concern like Timothy? And how can I shift my focus from being seen to being sincerely present? I mean, tough question there. And we talk about it in She's Connected all the time. Like, what are you doing all your tasks for? Are they just so you look good, or are they deeper? In what ways has motherhood tested and refined my heart? Ooh, this one could be a long list of stuff. What is God showing me through the challenges that I face each day? Because I know you're going through some stuff. You got some challenges. So what is God teaching you through those? Am I giving myself permission to rest like Epaphroditus needed to? This one's a huge one for moms. We don't rest nearly as much as we should. And what would it look like to honor my human limits while still trusting God with the outcomes of my everyday? Maybe you're packing in way too much. I have some sports schedules going on right now, and it's baseball season. So Dade is really on practices and games and all that stuff. And he has to be picked up and dropped off. And he wants you to go see him play and all these things. And then I have hockey with Gideon, and everybody has their church stuff. And maybe the schedule's too full. And I told Gideon that I needed to take a break after his session of hockey this time. He has a few more weeks. But I was like, I can't hop into another hockey thing right after that. I'm going to need a little break. And we are having a wedding. Hazel's getting married, so we're planning that too. And so having all those things line up on several days at the same time is very hard for me. And I have to learn this. Maybe the schedule needs to be relaxed a little bit more. Maybe I can't put as much in my schedule as I used to. Maybe we need to slow down like Ireland made me do this morning. Don't get to all your stuff and do your routine. You need to settle down and just rock in a chair with me quietly. Blow our minds. Rest is important for everyone, but especially important for moms. Next question. What struggle in my motherhood journey am I tempted to hide out of shame or fear? You have all these different struggles. Can you share them with other people? Can you be honest? Can you be open? How could God use that very struggle to point your children or others to His strength and grace? So maybe you just need to share it. Maybe you need to meet with some other moms in person. Maybe you need to be real with your kids about your struggles and what's going on. Next question is, do my children and family see a clear, honest faith lived out in my everyday actions? Ouchie, this one can be a little bit hard for all of us moms. Are they seeing? We keep teaching our kids, do this, do that, all the things. And then maybe our life is not representing that. Oh, what's one way I can Set forth the truth plainly. That's what Paul says to do in my home each week. Ooh, okay. Don't think that everything you're doing is wild and crazy and not right because you are doing it. You're showing up every day. You are presenting the gospel to your family just in how you live. And I give you credit for that. I praise you for not giving up and getting um, just being with your kids shows them something. But what is one way that you can like work on? Do it more, do it better. I'm not trying to put more things on your schedule. I don't want to say that. I kind of when I just said do more. I don't really like that. I want you to see something in a different way. Okay? So what are you doing with your kids? Pick something on your routine, something that you do every day. How can you make it just a little bit more special so that it shows your faith clearly to them? Yeah, maybe that's the way I wanted to say it. You may not feel like a star when you're wiping up crumbs and calming tantrums or even folding laundry or doing yet another sink full of dishes. But in God's eyes, your faithful love, your quiet prayers, your unseen sacrifices, those are radiant. And like Timothy and Epaphroditus, your life may not be glamorous, but it is deeply meaningful. I really want you to hear that. Your life is so meaningful that you do not understand it. You can't imagine how amazing your life is because you're in the thick of it, And you can get so caught up in feeling down or not feeling good about things that you lose sight about how meaningful your life in changing that diaper is and your life cleaning up that mess is. I know 13 years ago, Ruthie was a baby, a newborn. I was nursing her and I felt like a zombie mom. And I was just kind of in the dumps about this is what I wanted. I wanted children, and now I feel like this. I don't feel like anything I do matters. We just do the same stuff every day, but differently, and it's all messy. And I just was like feeling down about myself and how my life was going. And God just slapped me sideways. Hazel was reading a book, and it talked about God, and I just was like, oh my goodness, I'm missing it. It is all about Him. And I started focusing more on Him, putting Him in the middle of everything. And I did before this. God was a part of my motherhood the whole time, but I just started to lose myself. And it was because I wasn't putting Him first. And you could say you don't have time for it, for reading your Bible, praying, all the things. But it's actually the opposite. When you make time for it, God kind of multiplies your time. It's really strange. You are proving yourself through that daily ministry of motherhood. You are refining, or you are getting refined by all these challenges you're going through. You're getting purified in your motives. All these challenges that you face, they actually purify the motives in your heart. They show what is truly in your heart. And if it's God, then you're going to see that in your challenges. You're going to start to see those challenges as opportunities instead of drudgery. Oh, what is the next thing I wanted to say? You're going to be made more like Christ in the process of your motherhood journey. The hard moments, they don't diminish your light. They actually prepare it to shine even brighter. So thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you next Friday, even though Facebook's weird and I can't see the comments as they're going live. I kept trying to refresh some things and it took a while. It said something's wrong just now. But I still hope to see you here on the live in She's Connected at 12:30 Central. That's 1:30 Eastern. And I am going live with Facebook now instead of connecting Zoom. And all that is easier to do, which has been awesome. But I don't like that Facebook isn't showing me how many people are here in my comments, but that could just be a me thing. I'm not hitting the right button. I don't know. But I also started cataloging our lives in YouTube. So Facebook is deleting lives after 30 days. So lately I have been, after I go live, I download the live video, and on our recap post, I put the video in there, and I have been sharing that post in our guides if this matters to you at all, or if maybe it doesn't, so you don't have to listen to that. But all of our lives I'm also putting into YouTube. So here's the catcher. Facebook is deleting our lives after 30 days, but also at a certain day, they are going to delete all of my past lives. Now, all of our guides show all of our series that we've done, and it has different videos in different categories, and I kind of liked having that there. But if they're going to get rid of all my live videos, all the links are not going to work. So I was kind of frustrated, but I was like, what can I do to catalog all my lives and all of our series and all that stuff? Well, I decided to create a YouTube page, and then we'll all be there. I don't know if I'll share the YouTube page until I get all of my past lives on there, but I am doing it one by one, and a little kid just came in to say hi. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's it about our lives. I just wanted to remind you guys, take heart, brave mom. That's you. You're not alone in this calling, and you're not without help. God is forming in you a heart that reflects His. One that shows that genuine concern we talked about today, that endures with grace that we've talked about today, and lives truth out loud in a simple way for all those people around you, like we talked about today. Keep setting your eyes on Him and offering what you have, even if it feels small, with His strength. You will shine like a star in a world that desperately needs your light and God's light. So keep on going. God sees you, and He delights in your glow. I will see you next week. Can you say bye-bye? Can you say bye-bye? Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. See you next week, everyone. Happy connecting.